Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com here with the free pick in the UCLA versus Washington college basketball matchup on Sunday, January 14th, 2024. If you like all the free picks we give out at Pickdawgz, you'll love our premium picks, our best bets. Use the discount code PICK, you'll get 15% off. We also have Dime Club and Sharp Trading Plays. These are meant for people who make big bets. They're not available on the website, so you got to text that number. But let's get to this one. We've got UCLA taking on Washington, Pac-12 action. Pretty early ending card here for a Sunday in college hoops. You know, generally there's always like these late night bailout games on Sunday in the Pac-12, but this one 7 p.m. Eastern time start. UCLA comes into this one just 6-10 on the season. Not a very good year here for the Bruins. Washington on the other side 10-6 on the season. A much improved team. You know, the thing about the Huskies is that they're just 1-2 on the road, but they're 2-1 against the number. And UCLA 1-7 against the number at home in Pauley Pavilion. You know, the thing is that Pauley Pavilion, even when the Bruins have had down years, has always been one of the toughest buildings, not just in college basketball, but in all of sports. And the thing is that this Bruins team, it's not like they don't have good players on here. You know, as we've watched, UCLA this season, one of the things that I've noted in these videos, live shows, and general conversation that we seem to have all day long amongst us here at Pickdawgz is that I think UCLA just played a really tough schedule, and I think they had all of these tough games. So when you play that tough out of conference like that, it's kind of like what Michigan State does. Sometimes it's not going to look so pretty at certain points of the season. Then you figure, you get into conference play and you get into home games against a lot of teams that and things will turn around. But that has not been the case. UCLA had the win at Oregon State to open their Pac-12 schedule. They were 6.5-point road favorites in that game, but they've lost their last 4 Pac-12 games. They were favored in home games versus Stanford and Cal. Very winnable spots. I mean, even if you don't cover the spread, they lost both those games outright. And then last time at Utah, absolutely undressed, 90-44. I've bashed Mitch Cronin throughout the bulk of his career, and then the last couple of years, I actually kind of sang his praises at times. Well, I guess it's easy to sing a guy's praises when he's got Hawkes and Campbell in the backcourt, and of course has plenty of other players coming through the system. Meanwhile, we look at this team, losses against Villanova, Ohio State, and they played in Honolulu in that Maui Invitational this season as well. Meanwhile, when we look at Washington, that game against Arizona State last time, I have to say there was a few unfavorable calls against Arizona State in that game, and that kind of swung the tide. And then once Washington was able to get to the lead, they were able to put the Sun Devils away. And every time Arizona State looked like they might have a chance to shrink that lead, Washington just pulled away time and time again. They were not great hitting their free throws down the stretch in that game. In all fairness, I had Washington in that game against the number. It was my top play of the day, actually. And so when I mentioned that the bad calls that went their way, they went in our favor. So it's not like I'm complaining about them. I'm just saying there were bad calls and they went their way. I don't know if it made a difference in the actual outcome or not. But Washington has now won back-to-back games, beating Oregon State at home. They did lose at home to Oregon, at Utah, tough building, and at Colorado in the Pac-12 this season. And here they go back on the road again. They also lost earlier this season to Colorado State and had a win over Gonzaga. I think the Huskies are a good team, and I think they're a gritty team, but laying points on the road at Pauley Pavilion, coming against a Bruins team that's almost like a wounded animal, I gotta say, I think UCLA can D it up, and we've seen them do that this season. I like the way Washington shoots from the perimeter. I don't love the way UCLA defends the perimeter, but they're not horrible at it. What they are horrible at is shooting the basketball, which is certainly part of the fundamentals of the game here. You gotta eventually put the ball through the hoop and score more points than your opponent. I think the thing is that Washington's certainly not world beaters on the defensive side. I think UCLA at least covers at home, if not wins this one outright, and that's going to be my free pick. Of course, while you're doing your picks, putting your bets in, use our free betting tools at sportschatplace.com. They're 100% free, and they'll help put you on the most favorable bets on the board today.